Hi, I am so happy to be here. I want to start by introducing myself. My name is Rachel Yakar, and I am an occupational therapist. So that's my profession. I'm also a mom, a partner, a friend, but really I'm here as an occupational therapist to chat with you about being on the OSRUI camp care team. So, and how we are supporting our campers and how we're supporting you to help our campers be successful and have an amazing summer. First, I want to start by saying I'm just really grateful for being here, being a member of the camp care team, and being part of this process and having this experience with all of you and sharing in that. So I want to start by just sharing a little bit about my framework and my background because I think it'll help guide our conversation. I grew up at OSRUI as a camper in the early 90s. I was a counselor, a unit head. I met my wonderful partner, Evan. He went on to rabbinical school. I went on to graduate school to study occupational therapy. And now we have two boys. One will be in Sophie Bet this summer, and the other one will be in Chaverim. And I am a pediatric occupational therapist. And what that means is that I work with children to help them be successful with whatever is meaningful to them. So at OSRUI, hopefully the camp experience is meaningful to them, and I want to help them have the best time ever. So, and I see my role as doing that by helping you and giving you really practical strategies to work with kids. Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to pack in a whole graduate level course or even degree into 15 minutes. I'm just going to share some practical strategies and some information about how we might see our campers processing information and then engaging in camp. So how they're behaving, how they're participating in their daily activities, and things that we can do to really help support them so that they're having an amazing summer. I will be here at OSRUI for week 3 and 4 of the summer. Excuse the helicopter flying overhead if you can hear that. But I will be here, and there will always be a camp care team member who you can approach for more strategies, more solutions, a different perspective on what a camper might be going through, how you can support a camper in a positive way. So we are here for you, and this is just the start of a conversation, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you. Okay, so as a member of the camp care intake team, we have been reaching out to families who have maybe voiced or written on the application that their child has a special need of some kind. And we've reached out to the families to start a conversation. It can be one phone call, one Zoom session, or several. It kind of depends on the situation and the child's specific strengths and needs. And we found some themes that have really risen to the top with these phone calls. And we feel like the solutions that we're going to offer today will be wonderful assets to your, in quotes, toolbox to support the campers. So here are the themes, what we've heard, what we've seen, what we've talked about, what we've offered solutions about to set families up for success as they send their child to OSRUI. So the first one is we're seeing a lot of kids being diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. This means that they're having trouble attending to tasks. It might mean that they're having trouble initiating a task. And we see this during all meaningful activities, or in my OT language, occupations. And it's affecting kids in their day-to-day. So that's the first theme. The second theme is we've seen a lot of kids with anxiety. So that just could look like some nervous energy. It could look like a lot of fidgeting. It could look like not wanting to participate in a task because it's scary, or potentially, and hopefully not, but a panic attack. We could also, so another theme is depression, and I'm going to sort of lump that in with feelings of general sadness, maybe it also goes along with anxiety and ADHD, but it's that overwhelming feeling of sadness that can kind of feel rather crushing to a lot of our campers right now, and a big part of that is COVID, maybe being socially isolated, maybe experiencing illness, and that has huge implications for how they're participating in their daily activities or occupations. And then the fourth theme, which is what I actually specialize in my practice, is sensory processing. So, and I'm going to dive really deep into that for the next portion of our little chat here together. Sensory processing challenges. So that is how our bodies physiologically take in any sort of information and then use it to guide our motor output. So use it to behave, okay? So all the time we're taking in lots of information from sensory receptors all over our body. We have literally millions of them, if not billions, of sensory neurons. And we are using the information that we gain from those sensory neurons to behave. And that's what all humans do. It's an amazing part of our nervous system. However, sometimes people are interpreting the sensory information in a way that just doesn't work. And that can cause ADHD. That can cause or have implications for anxiety. That can have implications for depression. So that's the lens that I'm using. I'm using those four themes, again, of our campers experiencing ADHD presentations, our campers experiencing anxiety, our campers experiencing depression, and then with sort of that overhead umbrella of how can we reach our campers using more of the sensory integration sort of philosophy. So understanding how are they interpreting the information and how are they behaving, or how is it affecting their day-to-day. So I want to talk a little bit about our sensory system. We all learned probably in first or second grade the 5 special senses. So what are those? I mean, I'm sure you can say them out loud, but I will for you. Vision, what we see. Auditory, what we hear. Olfactory, what we smell. Gustatory, what we taste. And tactile, what we touch, okay? But then there are 3 additional senses that have a huge role in how we interact with our world or interact at camp. And those include proprioception, so that's where our bodies are in space. Vestibular, how we are balanced and coordinated in a physical way. And interoception, which is how our bodies are letting us know, giving us that sensory input that we're hungry or hangry, that we are hydrated or thirsty, that we're hot or cold, or that we have enough energy to go about our day. So we're going to say that now there are 8 special senses that our campers are really experiencing at all times, whether we are conscious of it or not. So it's something to keep in mind, like where are our campers modulated? Are they regulated? Are they interpreting sensory information in a way that they are seeking information, which would mean that they're not getting enough, so they're looking for more? Those are the kids who are really fidgety. Those are the kids who cannot attend to task. Those are the kids who might really love spicy food or love that physical input of like punching a friend, not because they're mad, just because they don't know what else to do with their bodies at that time. They are sensory seeking, okay? The other side of that is sensory avoiding. So maybe it's just too much. Maybe you're sitting in Shabbat Shira and you see a camper off to the side and they just like will not sing. Maybe that auditory input or the visual input or or so many people around is just way too much. They are too sensitive to that sensory input, so they're avoiding the sensory experience. And then we can ask ourselves, well, how can we help, right? How can we support these campers who might be experiencing sensory input too much or too little? So we have lots of practical strategies. This is where the solutions come into play. The first one, that's going to make it really, hopefully, simple for all of you, is that we're going to give you all these cards. So on these cards is information. You can use it, you can make notes on it, you can keep them in your pocket, in your backpack. These are just going to have some practical strategies for you so that if you see a child experiencing maybe some feelings of depression, experiencing anxiety, experiencing challenges processing sensory information, on one side of each card, you're going to get 3. On one side of each card is going to be the physical presentations. So what it might look like that fidgeting I was talking about, that would be a physical presentation. And then there's going to be the emotional presentation. So what it might be feeling like for our campers. With the depression, it might be the sadness, it might be the reluctance to participate, okay? Just as examples, throwing them out there. So you're gonna get these 3 cards, or 3 cards are gonna have the information on them. On the back of each card is going to have the solutions. So this is the fun part. How can you help? What can you offer? You can offer breathing exercises, okay? Let's take a deep breath together. You can offer, and it helped me just now. You can offer a hand breath. That would be in, out, etc., all through the hand, and that allows them to A, connect with you, and B, gain some proprioceptive and tactile feedback, and also just slow down their nervous system. Okay, that's a really easy one to do on the fly. You can check in with them by asking an open-ended question. I encourage this with every camper. If you can make it happen over a 48-hour period, they will feel connected to you, and you can just support them in regulating their own emotions by asking an open-ended question, such as, what did you like most about your afternoon today? And keep it contained. So I didn't say about your whole day, right? We want to give it to them in a way that they can healthfully and react and respond in a way that feels good for them. And then you can help them process. Maybe it didn't go so well. Well, then you can find out more information and seek out ways to help them. Okay, so we talked about breath work, we talked about checking in and connecting with the campers. I also want to talk about our sensory room. So this is super exciting this year. We have created a sensory space for campers who might need that extra time, a little bit of time to regulate and calm down their sensory system so that they can go back and interact with the group or the ADA, given whatever time of day they're going through. So the sensory room is going to be a special space accommodating kids who have sensory integration or processing needs, and that's going to be you'll get more information about that as we throw it all together. It's going to be awesome. And then finally, I want to offer another strategy, which can be a hard one, but it's modeling. So we can really model how we interact. And what that means is, and I'm sure you've seen it and felt it, when you look mad, someone else who you're interacting with is going to be mad. Okay? They're going to pick up on those social cues. Even if kids are not good at picking up on social cues, and you might read that in the forms, the best thing that we can do to support a lot of our campers is to model how we want them to behave. So that's just another cue. We can mirror, okay, how we hope our campers interact with us and each other, and that can be super supportive. And then, again, the Camp Care team is here for you to support you as you create your wellness toolbox. So we look forward to having ongoing conversations with you. We hope that you'll reach out for maybe more specific strategies when you come into a situation that might feel a little big for you to process. We're here for you. I do have some notes just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But finally, oftentimes, this is what I wanted to add, and I'm throwing this in. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but when we're talking with kids and when we're giving them information, And you might feel this way about this talk right now. I hope not, but I don't know. So that auditory processing, our auditory processing is not that strong, okay? As humans, we're not very good at it. So what they might be hearing, what you might be hearing right now as I end my 15-minute TED Talk is wah, 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 wah. So let's not have that happen. My strategy for you is to offer information, important information in different ways. So use visuals, use cards, use whatever you can think of that is not auditory input, because I promise you, as you were probably feeling sitting through a lot of this, is that the auditory sense is probably the least effective. So think about using all of the senses that I shared. And I just want to thank you again, and I can't wait to meet you in a few weeks. Take care.